Greetings, friends. Jacque Howard here, and welcome to Trenton 365. Sort of. So many of you know that I'm a huge sports fan. I have been all my life. Even at one point in time, I thought maybe I could have been a professional athlete, like many of us. Yeah, you hear that giggling in the background. That only lets you know that there's somebody who I'm going to be bringing onto the scene who has probably a much better sense of humor than I do. Folks, I'm going to be introducing you to the new show that I'm going to be launching with my longtime friend, Dan Regan, the doctor. What's up, Dan?
How are you today?
I'm doing okay. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. But anyway, folks, show stuff. So Dan and I have always, our whole friendship was really based upon sports, so to speak. And we've developed a friendship over the years. Dan's a 4-for-4 guy for New York teams. I'm New York and Philly. So I'm a Sixers fan, an Eagles fan. I don't follow hockey. I'm sure Dan's going to have some things to say about that, jokingly, of course. And in baseball, I'm a Mets fan. But Dan is a comic. Dan is a 4-for-4 guy in New York. And Dan, when we talk about 4-for-4, you're the classic 4-for-4. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us, what is this whole 4-for-4 thing actually mean?
Alrighty. Hello. And first question, is this a video also going out or just audio?
It's both, man.
Oh, okay. All right. So then you can see my my shirt. I didn't even put it on for the show. I just had it on. So yes, I'm a 4-for-4. What that is, the four major sports. I'm a fan of all the teams from one city, meaning Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, Giants for me. Been a sports fan my whole life, played baseball since I think I started at 5, same thing with basketball. And yeah, they're just my passions, all the sports. Being a Knicks fan, it's been tough. So I know about longing. And hopefully we're turning it around. And yeah, Yankee fan, I've been happy. You know, the 90s were a lot better than the current situation, but hopefully we're seeing some prominence again, and Giants, will skip right past them, and Rangers are up and coming, young team, and hopefully we'll be seeing them back in the Stanley Cup soon. It's been a long time since they won a cup. I remember when the Rangers won a cup in '94, and everybody's like, 54 years of curses is over, because the last time they won before that was 1940. Well, we're almost at 1940 again. I mean, the Rangers got to pick it up and win another cup soon, so hopefully soon.
All right. So since you brought up your beloved Knicks, and for a long time, we would always have banter back and forth about, like, our different teams and so forth, mainly about the Mets and the Yankees. And you're right, the Yankees through the 90s, when we were really, really hanging tight, traveling all over the country, playing competitive softball, the Yankees were the dominant team. But I want to talk about basketball a little bit. Now, I'm feeling a little bit of heartache right now after that putrid performance by the Sixers last night in Game 7 against the Hawks. But I want to give a shout out to the Knicks, man. You guys had a fantastic season. Julius Randle, really, I was watching the Knicks intentionally to see how they were going to be playing. You got a young crop of good players, et cetera. The Garden's the Garden. So any visiting team that comes in is going to be fired up about playing. From a Knicks perspective, just tell me a bit about what this year was like.
It was fun. There's no other word to describe. It was just fun, especially when the fans started coming back. I mean, it's one thing to see your team win anyway, and I know everybody probably thinks their home arena is the best, and I understand that. But man, nothing beats an electric Madison Square Garden. And when the Knicks were playing well, there's some rabid, passionate fans. And it was just great to hear them in the playoffs again. It's been a long time since I felt that. And me and my wife's a big Knicks fan too. My wife's a big sports fan in general. Same thing. She's a 4-for-4 too. And we were saying we can't remember the last time we were this excited about, like, one night, like, hey, the Knicks are on, got to watch the Knicks. Like, at one point, I watched, before the playoffs started near the end of the season, we watched the Knicks over the Yankees, and when was the last time we did that? So that's crazy. That's how you know things are turning it around, hopefully. So yeah, it was fun. That's, like I said, one word to describe the season was fun.
When I think back to those early years when we were hanging out a lot, playing softball and so forth. there were times where you were absolutely, I'm watching the game. Like I'm watching the Yankees. The Yankees are on. I'm out of here. Rangers are on. And I don't think that people can really comprehend that. Earlier, I mentioned that you're a comedian, and talk about how you kind of weave that all into, the performances that you give on the stage.
Well, I could tell you a quick joke about that, so we'll lead into that. You know Anthony Voles, right?
Yep.
So he wrote something on Facebook today. He drives for Lyft part time, and he said that he picked up two. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He picked up two Atlanta Hawks employees on the way to driving to the airport, and somebody said, did they leave you a tip? And I'm like, yeah, the tip they left you is Trenton Simmons.
All right.
So
Yeah. So go on and talk about that, man, because you had to go and bring that up. I saw that. I was going to talk about it, but I'm still hurting, man, from that performance last night. But yeah. So how do
yeah, I
you
know.
weave in like the comedy with the sports?
Well, with me, and I'm sure this is probably like the true with like any comedian. What you have to do is you just take real life and just try to spin it to be funny, whether it's sports, politics, which I try to stay away from, but anything, relationships, just entertainment, anything. You just try to spin something funny off of it. So sports is a little tricky sometimes because sports is kind of straightforward, but then when you see some like a Ben Simmons comes along, that stuff writes itself. So it's not that. It's almost like it's like something presents itself to you. You just have to unwrap it. That's all it is.
All right. So can I expect to see a bunch of tweets coming out about you and how you feel about Ben Simmons's performance or lack thereof?
Uh, I don't know. I think I got to sit on that one because the Ben Simmons stuff, it's almost like too taboo right now. It's almost like stepmom porn. Like it's like everybody is into it, but no one wants to admit it.
All right.
Oh,
That was good. That was good. I want you to stay with the comedy because, I think when people think about comedians, they have, the big time Eddie Murphys, those types of folks, Eddie Murphy, who you're a big fan of, but they don't really realize that there's a bit of a circuit, for folks who are on the way to getting to those opportunities. And can you talk about that a little bit?
yeah. As far as starting out, and we were talking about it earlier today on the phone about just getting acclimated to the comedy scene. You just have to work at it. You just have to hit stages and network, talk to other comedians if you can, pick the brains of older comedians that have been doing it for a while. It's like anything else. It's like a business. But the bottom line is, at least in comedy, you gotta have the one element, which is you gotta be funny. Without that, you could have all the knowledge in the world. It's not going to help. So it's like singing. I wish I could sing, dude. I always wish I could be a lead singer of a band, be touring. I'm missing that one key thing. I can't sing. Got the passion, just don't have the voice.
I got you on that. Oh man. So with the performing, I know you just did a show recently over at a local watering hole. I'd rather you not say the name of it unless they want to pay us a little bit. But
Hmm.
you just did a show at a local watering hole, and you've got some other shows that are coming up. So people, best way to do it is follow you on Twitter, check you out on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook. I'm Dan Regan, Regan. Social Mime on Twitter. That's social SOCIAL_MIME. Social Mime.
Cool. Now, with this page that we started, this idea, we just kind of put it together because we're always, when we do talk, sometimes there's little gaps in between. That generally is because you don't answer the phone.
Okay.
So
You
when we do,
couldn't even finish that sentence with a straight face. You started laughing. That just tells you all you need to know. The defense rests.
so whenever we talk, man, we usually talk about sports, about how our teams are doing, all often about some funny things and stuff that are happening in sports or in everyday life. And I'd like for you to just Share a little bit about what's going on in the world of Dan Regan, like some of the things that you're tweeting out.
Sports related or just in general?
How about in general? And if it's sports, that's cool too.
Uh, well, the jokes that seem to get the most reactions, I guess, are jokes about me and my wife, marriage. I guess a lot of people are married and need to laugh. So, you know, that's those are always good. I I always write dog jokes, and somebody who's a recent dog owner could start appreciating them more now. Should start retweeting some dog jokes that I wrote, maybe sharing some dog jokes on social media. You know, come on here with 10 minutes notice that I need to do a show. I'm here for them, and guy can't even share and retweet my stuff for him.
I'll get right on that. I promise. I promise.
Yeah. Okay. Next month I'll be like, yeah, remember that joke you're supposed to retweet and that joke you're supposed to share? What happened to that? We talked about a month ago.
Now,
where is that puppy, by the way?
Salem, our Australian cattle dog healer mixed with we don't know what is in the house. She is really she likes to be in the house, but she also likes to make sure she knows where everybody is. So she's probably going to come out here in a minute or two, and hopefully while we're taping, she can say hi, and making sure the cats are good and that Van and DJ are good as well.
That's one thing. Two things me and Salem have in common. Then we both love it in the house. We have to check on your ass once in a while.
And the checking on me, I do appreciate. And folks, like this is really just us being ourselves. And with that being said, I mean, Dan and I are both, very open about our mental fitness and the importance for us to be healthy, not only just physically and spiritually for those who are in that direction, but also mentally as well. And I can call and talk to Dan in confidence about whatever, and he can do the same. And I think that's hi Kevin. I think that it's
Kevin's been wanting
something
you to say hello to him for the last 5 minutes.
That's not true. He's playing with his dog, Pedro.
Okay.
All right, you're funny. Um, but yeah, folks. I mean, if you need that, please don't hesitate. I consider myself to be very fortunate in so many ways, and the people in my life, like my man Dan here, to be able to call him and say, look, I'm having a rough time, or I'm having a bad day, and for him to be able to communicate with me and to share techniques and ideas, and for us to spin things around, to laugh and enjoy time together is something that I appreciate. And I think that there's more people who can appreciate it as well. So just stay tuned, because we're going to be doing more with trying to destigmatize mental health issues and try to get more people, especially men and men of color, to start talking about this stuff, man. We can live happy, joyful lives. And sometimes there's four-legged animals in those lives to help us get through these crazy times, right, Doc?
Absolutely. And real quick, even if you're one of the lucky ones that doesn't have any kind of suffering, whether it be anxiety, depression, panic, that's great. But if you know someone that's close to you and they're going through it, you don't know what to say to them, you don't have to say anything. Just listen. Like when they need to talk, just listen. Let them talk. Sometimes talking it out for people that go through this like us is therapeutic. You don't need to give us the answers. You don't need to give us any kind of direction. Just listen. Just lend an ear. And let them talk. Let them cry. Let them just spew. Just let them get it out, because that alone does wonders for a person going through this. So don't worry, like, oh well, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just sit there and listen then, because you're doing that person so much good that you don't even realize.
Folks, you can see why I love this dude. The relationship and the friendship has been this way from the beginning, and that's what brotherhood and humans being humans and having strong relationships is all about. Love you, man. I appreciate you. So before I get too mushy, I think I've cried enough the last week.
We know it's a good video when we make this man cry. So I could do it easily. I got some go-tos, but I ain't gonna do it. We'll save that. We'll save that for the series, the season finale.
Yeah, the Showtime season finale or something like that.
Yeah. It's like, how many times can I make Jacque cry in a half hour? I'm saying 5. So we'll try it one day.
Over and under. Yeah, we can do over
Yeah.
under bet on it, and that'll work.
Yeah, draft Kings, baby.
You were talking today when we were just catching up. You were saying about you know, starters in this business, like being on stage, performing arts, in particular comedy, which is what you do. That you got to be prepared to, like, you may perform for no money, you may perform for a little money, you may perform for 2 people, you may perform before lots. Can you just talk about some of the chops that people who want to get into comedy, what they can expect, and let's assume that they've already have some material, and they're already, people think they're funny as well, not just them retelling jokes.
Yeah, and I know we talk about it, where it's like people want to puke from hearing it so much, but I can't stress it enough. Number one, be funny, and number 1A, be original. Write your own stuff. Don't ever take it from somebody else. I don't care if the comedian no one's ever heard of, and it's somebody out in the Midwest. You're like, yeah, who's gonna know? It doesn't matter. It's the principle of it. Just be yourself, be original. With that said, yeah, you're gonna be in front of hopefully hundreds of people one day. You're gonna be in front of people that might be 2 or 3 in a crowd. I did a show one time for 2 people. It's 5 for 2 minutes. And honestly, it was a great night because we said our stuff, we worked it out, and the smaller crowds sometimes are the ones you got to work a little harder for, but it also makes you a better comedian when you do that. Um, and yeah, take any gig. When you first start out, no one's going to come to you and be like, "Hey, man, I'm going to pay you $300 for 10 minutes." And if they do, God bless you, but it's not going to happen that often. You're going to have to go do open mics. You're going to have to do bringer shows, which, Jacque, I don't even know if you know what a bringer show is. I think I told you
No.
before. Ugh. Ugh. So I'm having flash. Okay. So real quick, a bringer show, which I've done before and I will never do again because, knock on wood, I'm at that level. I don't have to anymore. But a bringer show is when the place tells you you'll get stage time depending on how many people you bring to the show. So each person you bring is 1 minute. That's how most of them do. You bring 5 people, you get 5 minutes.
What?
Bring 3. You bring nobody, you don't go up.
And wait a minute. So how do they balance that then? Is there a cover charge too?
It all depends. Like most of the clubs that do this are in New York, LA, the big cities. And then you also have to bark, which is you be one of those people where you're standing out in the streets with the flyers. Hey, comedy show tonight, comedy show tonight. And what you do is, if a person takes the flyer, you tell them your name and say, please, write my name on the back. And that way, when the club knows the person came for you, that's how they give you your time. So I've done that before. I know friends of mine that do it, and it's a grind, and that's comedy in the big cities. That's what you have to do. And I vowed never to do bringer shows again because it's nerve-wracking because you want to get up on stage that night, but you're relying on people showing up for your stage time. If they don't go up, you don't go up. If they don't show up, you're a spectator. Now the club might throw you a bone and just be like, all right, so go do a minute or 2. But I mean, if you get 7 people, man, 7 minutes, that's a valuable 7 minutes that you want up on that stage. So
and we got about just 5 minutes or so left, but I do want to talk about a few things as far as the actual performance itself. You said 7 minutes. Like, for the average person, can you break down material and time and how you prepare by doing that?
As far as my material,
Yeah. So, for example, if you've got, your set's going to be 7 minutes, like you said, like how much material you should have in that, as opposed to just recording yourself doing it.
I would always record more. Like, let's say, all right, I have 7 minutes tomorrow night or something. Give yourself 8 minutes, 9 minutes, and you hope you don't even get to 7 minutes in because you're going to have laugh breaks, hopefully applause breaks. But just in case the jokes aren't going over, you tend to talk a little faster, so those 7 minutes are going to go by quick. Next thing you know, your 7 minutes is up. You've only been up there a minute and a half. So, but yeah, so you always want to give yourself a little bit more just in case. And when they light you, that means when the light comes on, you've got to wrap it up. Just go right into your go home joke, your closer.
Your go home joke. Now, you said that you've performed before, small audiences and big ones. When people are starting out, what are some of the spots that they should expect to perform in?
Well, some of the places like around here, man, Hamilton, Trenton area, there's no comedy scene here. You got to make your own. Like when I first started, I was in Philly. It's not even there anymore. It's called the Laugh House on South Street. They would have open mics every Wednesday. So I would just go to. There are places that still do open mics every week. Just start going there, meet people, introduce yourself, network, make friends. That's what I did. And what happens is those friends have shows. They know friends that have shows, and that's how you meet new people that way. And you know what? And if you're funny and you're talented, people are going to notice. And you get next thing you know, you're going to start being asked to do more and more. And that's the best way to do it. Be even on social media, man. Put yourself out there. Let it be known. Comment, interact with other comedians on there. It'll happen.
Mhm. Yeah, and using social media. Talk about. I mean, you've got a very large Twitter following. Excuse me, always have, from what I recall. Just talk about the social media presence and how important it is for you and for your brand.
Twitter's been really helpful for me because for a couple of reasons. One, it archives all my jokes, which is great, and it timestamps them. And so let's say I'm going to be doing a benefit for Little League Baseball. I can go on Twitter, type in my username Little League Baseball, and any joke I've ever written about Little League Baseball will pop up. So it's great for that. It's also great for throwing out new material because these are strangers out there, not your friends, not your family. So if they like it, that kind of gives you an idea of what something it might do well, might not do so well. So Twitter, but the problem is once you put it out there, yes, it's open for theft. So it does have a caveat, but nothing's perfect in this world.
And I know we're going to talk more about this like in the future, like a plagiarism, because that's what it is. Just a quick summary about your thoughts on people who don't look at jokes as being like writing like in a book or under that auspice.
I understand it to a point, especially if you're not in the business of being, of artists. If you're not creative, I get it. But it's work. It's original work that's taken. And we were always trained as growing up, like, hey, you want to hear a joke? Because we didn't know who said it. We couldn't give people credit because we didn't know who said it, who wrote it. But now with social media and it's so easily to trace, and it's so easy to just take someone else's work. Everybody wants to be funny. That's the thing. If you pretty much ask anyone, what do you wish you were? Funny is usually at the top of the list. So, and it is. It's intoxicating when you can make people laugh. There's hardly any better feeling than that. So I get it. But if you're not funny, don't steal from people that are. Like I said, I can't sing. I'm never going to post a video of me lip syncing to like Pavarotti and be like, hey, check this out. I did this the other day in my house. It's not me. So
I'm just going through like a bit of your Twitter feed here, and I want you to finish up. Can you just give me like a couple of jokes, even some of your originals, because they always make me laugh anyway.
well, I might as well throw out there my most you could probably what's my most stolen joke of all time? You could probably recite it.
Oh, I can't recite it exactly, but I will tell you it has to do with eyebrows. Women and fake eyebrows.
It goes, he wiped away her tears and accidentally her eyebrows too. This People ask my secret for my weight loss. I told them not having enough money to buy food. And we'll finish up with this one. When I see a grown man on a bike, I think two things: health nut or too many DUIs.
And on that, we
And
say
it's
goodbye.
funny. You know what's funny? There might be people out there like, wait a minute, I heard that before. Yeah, those are mine. Those are
Yeah,
mine. I didn't copy
exactly.
them from anybody.
Oh man, that's why I said he is a writer, folks. Dan Regan, man, love you, bro. We'll talk soon. All right.
Love you too, man. Thank you. Let's do it again.
All right. That's it, folks. Trenton 365, and in this segment, Doc and Jacque, two friends talking sports. You got a chance to introduce. I got a chance to introduce you to my man Dan Regan, and we got some really funny stuff coming up. I mean, this dude is hilarious. I may even just have him start live streaming 30-minute sets. That would be awesome. Anyway, folks, it's always about justice, peace, and humility. Have a good night, and we'll catch you next time.